board choices are extremely important if you want to advance from beginner to pro. So I say let's have a closer look. I have 4 different boards in my car, starting from very big to rather small, and we want to get through those boards one by one, maybe helping you guys out, making some choices and finding the right board for you. So let's start with this Downwind board here. That's 121 liters, 7 long and 21 inches wide. But before we can really actually dive into the board, we have to put this into relation with the rider. That's very important, particularly to the volume. And in the metric system, a liter equal 1 kilo. So let's take me as an example. I'm a 75 kilo guy. So with 75 liters, that means I'm actually pushing down 75 liters, 75 kilos, whatever you want to call it, or the 75 liters that they're pushing back. So I've actually I'm exactly neutral. So with 121 liters, now I have 46 liters extra buoyancy. That means I can dance on this board and it won't sink on me. And when you're beginning, this is exactly what you want. You want to have as much extra buoyancy that you can get. That gives you a stable stance. You can try in low wind, or even if you're learning behind a boat, you don't want to deal with a water start and kneeling and all of that. You want to just stand on the board, have the boat give you a tug, and now you can test out the foil. So you want to start with positive buoyancy. And now we're looking at a downwind board like this. What is it good for? What can we use it for? And that's another thing. Foiling is not cheap, and now you're good with one board, you want to progress and you're gonna have to buy another board, and that's another thing, and then it gets expensive. Now you want to shed this board for a smaller one, and I guarantee you guys that's exactly what's going to happen. You're gonna want to have a smaller board. You also want to have a board that you can use for multiple things, and this downwind board is actually really good for that. I've been using this board not just for winging. It does a really good job in light wind winging, but it also carries me for SUP. So I've been practicing my downwind SUP foiling with this board in waves. And you know what? It's super fun. When the waves are small and I want to go do something else and there's no wind, I go with this board and it engages so fast and so easy in the smallest bump that I can have fun with this SUP foiling in waves. And I can push this thing to where I can still prone foil it, for example. I can lay down. I don't need to stand up with a paddle. I can lay down, and I can also finally learn how to SUP downwind foil, because that's what actually this board is for, SUP downwind foiling. So this board is very versatile. It's big, but it's very versatile and very beginner friendly. One aspect that might be a little bit negative about this board is performance. When you want to maneuver around, the swing weight of a long board like this, you can really feel it. It feels a little bulky, but now let's have a look at another board. And here we are with something that is definitely my kind of to-go-to board. With a length of 5'2", this board is considerably small. With a width of 26, it's considerably wide. I can comfortably kneel on it, good for starting. If I run out of wind on the inside, I can still slog in, but this is really the only thing I can use this board for winging. Even though it says wing SUP on it, I'm too heavy to SUP a 75 liter board, or maybe not skillful enough. So this board is really the one that I'm using the most. It's just a happy medium. I don't have to knee start, I don't have to sinker, and it helps me through light wind. I can surf it in the waves with the wing, but then again, it's not good for prone starting in waves. I can't do a downwind SUP foiling with it. It is really only a wing foil board. Of course, we have a few other shorter boards. So this one here, this is the Wing 58 liters, hence the Wing 58. Now this is 4'2" and 20.5 inches wide. So now I am definitely wing starting. I am not slogging, and I am definitely need to be more of an advanced rider. Particularly, I need to be more of an advanced foil starter, because this is where this all boils down to, guys. How strong is the wind? How heavy are you? And how big of a wing do you have? I don't feel 100% comfortable using these sinker boards where I have to kneel and I'm halfway submerged and the wind is not very reliably strong. So I kind of struggle with that. When I go in Maui here to Kanaha, where the wind is blowing side shore and I can start out of waist deep water and it's blowing 25 from the side all the way in and out, I go this board all day long. I have no problems starting that board. I learned the knee start. I have strong winds all the way back to the beach. But if you're in a spot where the winds tend to be a little bit inconsistent, they are lighter or they are on the shore not so strong and then stronger on the outside, I am just personally, it just makes me nervous. I don't like to sink with my board or run out of wind and then be such a small board. I like to be then on something that floats me even though I am not on foil. As far as versatility goes with this board, I tried it in the waves, prone foiling, but because of its nose, it doesn't release very well in the waves. And this board was not really designed for proning. It was just a smaller version of those FG boards, and that was just not really the solution. So with this board, I think you can use this maybe in bigger waves for foiling without a wing. You're definitely wing foiling it. You can use it behind a boat. The versatility of this board, definitely, again, in my world, a little bit of a lower score than what we're just gonna go look at next, because this board here, a medium length 55 liter board with a length of 5'5" and a width of 18 inches, now is almost the same actually than the other board, except with one major difference in my opinion, because it is considerably narrow, and that narrowness is kind of where it's at for me. Because number one, with a board like this, now I can definitely prone foil. It's actually easier to prone foil than anything that I've ever tried. The board engages in the waves rather quickly and really very maneuverable. And as far as winging goes, same thing like the other one before. And again, this all comes down to the liters. 55 liters, so with 75 kilos, that's 20 liters negative buoyancy. So I'm definitely submerging this board, and I need a good amount of wind or a bigger wing, depending now. That's all depends on your spot and how strong the wind is. But I need good wind, and I can start this with a 3.5 meter wing in say 18 to 22 knots. But that's what I need to also feel comfortable, because I hate also to sit out there waiting for a gust and bobbing around, losing my balance and all of that. So as far as versatility goes, this board now adds more to the fun, because I can definitely prone foil this, and I have a good board for wing foiling. When the wind gets a little low and I'm just maybe coming down, but I'm still having pressure on my sail, that board also moves forward, because it has that pointy nose where it cuts through the water rather than pushing the water. And for slogging, even though you have this negative buoyancy, it really works much better than say the other board. And now of course the question is, if I had to give up a board, or if my boards got stolen, which one is the one that I really would like to have back the most? This is actually a really good question, because it's a question that we might also need to answer a little bit with our wallet. Are you solely performance driven, or do you have different spots, different conditions, and you want a board that one size fits all? And when it comes to that, I have to say that the biggest board actually fulfills the most needs. With the big Downwind board, I can do so much. I can SUP foil this on the smallest waves. I can downwind SUP foil this on a Nuking Moliko day or on a lake. I can prone foil this, prone start this in waves. I can wing this pretty much in any wind. Can I do airs with it? No. Do I want to do airs with it? No. So performance wise, if you're a full-on performance guy, then this board is certainly not for you. But if I happen to be able to only buy one board, it would be this, because it covers the most ground for what I like to do. Again, I cannot stress enough that it really comes down of where you are, who you are, what are you looking to do, and before you buy, maybe test out, borrow some gear from friends, and really familiarize yourself with your gear and the gear that you want to ride, because it is so easy to spend too much money on the wrong stuff, and this is exactly what we try to avoid here.